Welcome to the ASP .NET Interview Questions and Answers Series Part 1. In this session, we will cover 25 of the most commonly asked ASP .NET questions along with clear and practical answers. Whether you are a fresher preparing for your first job or an experienced developer aiming to level up, this series is designed to help you succeed in .NET interviews with confidence. Each question is carefully explained with real-world examples to help you understand the concepts better and impress your interviewers. So, let us begin with the first set of 25 ASP.NET interview questions. Let us get started. ASP.NET is a Microsoft web framework for building dynamic websites and services. It supports several models like web forms, MVC, Web API, and Razor pages. You can use it with either the .NET framework or the cross-platform .NET Core. ASP.NET allows you to build various types of applications. These include web forms for event-driven apps, MVC for structured applications, Web API for RESTful services, and Razor pages for lightweight UI-driven apps. ASP.NET Core supports all modern web app patterns. ASP.NET is the older Windows-based framework. ASP.NET Core is newer, faster, and cross-platform. ASP.NET Core introduces a modern pipeline with a built-in dependency injection, better performance, and the ability to run on Windows, Linux, and macOS. Global.sax is the global application file in ASP.NET Web Forms or MVC. It handles events like application start, session start, or errors. It's useful for initializing data or logging events globally. The web config files is used to configure settings like database connections, authentication modes, and custom error pages. You can also define session settings and caching options here. It is XML based and can be overridden in subdirectories. Server.transfer transfers control to another page on the server without changing the URL. It is faster but only works within the same server. Response.redirect sends a new request to the client, changes the URL, and redirects it to external sites. View state in web forms keeps track of page and control values between post bags. It stores the data in a hidden field on the page and restores it during post bag. It is useful but can increase page size. MVC stands for Model View Controller. The model represents your data and business rules. The view displays data, and the controller handles user input and interact with the model to update the view. Razor is a lightweight markup syntax for writing server-side code inside HTML. It allows you to write C# code directly in your HTML pages using the @ symbol. Razor is used in MVC views and Razor pages. A partial view in MVC is a reusable portion of a web page. It allows you to break down your UI into smaller, maintainable pieces like headers, menus, or login forms. You can include partial views using html.partial or html.renderPartial. Routing in ASP.NET MVC maps incoming URLs to the correct controller action. It allows for user-friendly URLs without file extensions. You can define default routes and custom ones in the routing configuration. Dependency injection is a technique where objects get their dependencies from an external source. ASP.NET Core has built-in DI support, making your code cleaner, testable, and easier to maintain. Middleware components process HTTP requests and responses in a pipeline. You can build in middleware like authentication and logging, or create custom middleware to handle specific tasks. Temp data stores data temporarily and is especially useful when redirecting from one action to another. It keeps values until they are read or the session ends. Session data is stored on the server and accessible across pages for a user, whereas view state is stored on the page itself and works only within that page. Session is better for larger data or multi-page scenarios. Tag helpers are a Razor feature that lets you write server-side logic in HTML syntax. They make your code cleaner and easier to manage, especially for form elements and links. Model binding in MVC simplifies data handling by automatically mapping HTTP request data like form inputs or query strings to action parameters or models. ASP.NET Core supports multiple authentication methods using Middleware. You can use cookie-based authentication, JWT tokens, or integrate with identity, OAuth, or social logins like Google or Facebook. Filters in ASP.NET MVC allow you to execute custom code before or after actions. They are used for cross cutting concerns like authorization, logging, or exception handling. Bundling and minification are performance techniques in ASP.NET. Bundling combines multiple JavaScript or CSS files into one. Minification removes unnecessary characters, making the file smaller and faster to load. The appsettings.json file is used in ASP.NET Core to store configuration data like connection strings, API keys, and custom app settings. You can also use environment specific versions like appsettings.development.json. The startup.cs file is essential in ASP.NET Core. It defines how the app is configured, including services using configure services and middleware using configure method. These methods define service lifetimes. Add singleton creates one shared instance for the app's lifetime. Add scoped creates one per request. Add transient creates a new instance every time the service is used. A layout view acts like a master page in ASP.NET MVC. It contains shared design elements like headers and footers. Views insert content into the layout using render body or at render section. The anti-forgery token prevents cross-site request forgery (CSRF) attacks. It is a hidden token generated in the form and validated when the form is submitted to ensure request authenticity.